Halo guys, welcome to back my channel. Di sini gue udah hari ke day 3 dan gue ada di Jakarta Culinary Festival. Dan kita langsung saja masuk yuk guys. Sambil kita jalan, sambil kita lihat masakan. Oke guys, kita sampai di penghujung acara day 3 di Jakarta Culinary Festival. Dan langsung saja yuk ke sana. Sosisnya enak, lumayan. Oke guys, kita lanjut lagi. Mbak. Oke guys, kita dapat free drink. Benar? Ini ada drink meme. Namanya drink meme. Ini bang, enak sekali. Langsung saja guys, kita tidur.
Biasanya kan kalau ibu-ibu
Oke guys, untuk lanjut videonya ya. Oke guys, sekarang gue lagi di Lawes Burger. Gue pesen burgernya, harganya berapa guys? Tau nggak? 151.000 coy, gile. Parah bro, mahal banget ini burger. Sumpah ini nggak bohong, gue lagi di bootnya Spontan. Di sini gue langsung ke bootnya Spontan. Dah kabur gue dari sini, nggak mau beli lagi deh, paling doang. Oke guys, kita nanti dapat makanan lagi di sebelah sana. I'll see you guys in hotel.
Iron Chef William. So when doing fine dining, you always have to start, well, every food, yeah, but every food should look good, right? Taste good, okay? And the textures should be interesting. So you don't want, like, you know, when you're eating rendang, the first 10 bites are cool, but after that's kind of like, because it's the same texture all the time. If you can bring different textures, something crunchy, something crispy, something hot, something cold, something slimy, something squirty. Then you can eat on and on and on and on and you never get bored, okay? So first thing, presentation. We have to choose a beautiful plate. We have to make sure that the plate has a contrast with the main ingredient. So I'm not going to use a black plate because black plate with the red, it will look nice, but less contrast, okay? So we start with a beautiful white plate. I have slices. Oh my God, that looks even better than it actually looks here. Thank you. Great filter on the video, bro. Okay? So, beautiful Wagyu beef. Tokusen, for you guys who have a Tokusen booth over there, I'm using your beef. And it's not sponsored, I paid for it. Woo! Amazing. Okay. We're gonna take this rendang oil. We have to make sure it's not hot, yeah? And then we're going to marinate the beef with the rendang oil. Swinny, you can start plating the tastings. So we have 23 tastings, and it looks like there's more than 23 people. So you guys can fight for the food. Don't involve me. Okay, so on top of this, we're going to use some porcini mushroom. So I am going to season. Well, first of all, I'm going to turn on the heat on the stove. No, thank you. We're going to season this with some salt. Oh my God, okay. Some pepper. You notice the pepper mill is red, the same color as mosaic. It's all about branding, Okay, and a little trick. First, some oil would be useful. Otherwise, I'm going to burn my mushroom, which is not what we're looking for. But a little trick, unless you're using fresh mushroom, which we don't have fresh porcini in Indonesia. We only have frozen. But a little trick is to put a thin coat of flour on anything wet. Wet fish, right? They boil in the pan, you put a little bit of flour, not a lot. You put a lot, it's KFC. You deep fry it, you get KFC, that's wonderful. But this is fine eating, so a bit of a sear. And the second trick is a wedding ring. Gentlemen, we found a second use for the wedding ring. It's not only to symbolize our marriage, but it's also to get the flour out of the flour shaker. Okay? Don't forget, yeah? So, we're going to put, very little flour, yeah? Just to dry the outside. Yeah? I'm putting these in a saute pan. And here we have to be careful, I'm not doing the Italian thing of it. No, I'm being very gentle, and I'm letting this color slowly. What happens if I shake the pan all the time? Cold air goes inside the pan. Temperature of the pan goes down. Ingredients boil. Water comes out. Not good. Don't shake a pan too much. You leave the heat in the pan. It allows to sear. Once you got a nice color, then you can start shaking the pan. Okay, so cooking is about technique, not about recipes. But you can buy my cookbook to get some recipes, no problem. It's not what I meant, but no, I'm kidding. I'm a joker. Excess fat, because we don't want to be serving too much fat. Okay, so I'm going to check one mushroom and see how the color is. Okay, and if I'm not happy with one mushroom, that means I'm not going to be happy with all the mushrooms, so I let it go. At the same time, we spoke about making Parmesan water. Now, emulsion, I apologize. We spoke about making a Parmesan emulsion. How do we make a Parmesan emulsion? You start with Parmesan cheese. It's amazing, right? The things you learn in a cooking demo. So, Parmesan cheese and water. And we cook it together until the cheese melts. And then we put a plastic wrap. We leave it on the side for 1 hour. So I'll do this now. You can come back in 1 hour. It will be ready. I made one before just to make it easier for you. Parmesan emulsion. Split by hand. All I want to do is just sear. Yeah, I apologize. I talked a lot, so there's nothing left for you to say. Later, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A so you can ask questions. Okay, so again, this is a very famous chef saying, at least I learned. Don't let the heat control you. You control the heat. Okay, so as chefs, we are tukang api, right? Fire is our trade, okay? So you always see these young chefs are like, oh, I burned everything. It's because they let the heat control them. Okay, young guys, don't let the heat control you. You control the heat. It's a magical thing. It's called, oh, I turn the heat down. It's less hot now. I won't burn. Okay. Anyways, so back to the Parmesan water. And technical issues. Hello, 101. To this, we add a little powder called soy lecithin. Now, when you add soy lecithin to a liquid, it creates a light foam when you emulsify it. So I'm going to go to my little Bamix hand blender, which is hiding here. So everybody knows nowadays maybe the Bamix. You want me to go down there. Mine is yellow because of all the cunyi that we use in mosaic. Okay, but at the end of this, I don't have a blade. I have this little magic thing called an emulsifier thing. So it doesn't have any blade on it, but it has little loops that allow air to go inside. By the Bamix, Swiss brand. I'm not sponsored by them, but hold on. See what I can do. Oh, okay. Bamix. Okay, they sell them in Jakarta. I've seen them before. Okay, so we put this in. Yeah, I don't know how well we can do this, bro. It's not going to work unless I'm on the floor. Yeah. So it's like at home now. We're cooking on the floor. Back to home cooking. My wife was doing this at home in Bali. But as you emulsify this, you will see that there is a foam forming at the top of the cheese water. So, okay, it's actually not warm enough, and my mushroom are burning, so I do have to be careful. You guys might laugh if I actually burn myself. Okay, so now I'm going to do, I always use 2 types of salt when I cook. Okay, this is another Chris Salen's trick, chef's trick really. I start in the beginning with table salt, which is sodium chloride, NaCl for chemists that are out there. And I finish with sea salt, which is an iodine-based salt. So you get different Star Trek, Enterprise. So it gives different saltiness on the tongue. A lot of chefs use the same salt twice. The food is too salty. We use 2 different types of salt, and it almost acts like an MSG. It's like, it tastes like a moto. Why your food tastes so good? And I don't put any moto in the food yet. There might be moto in the rendang, but that's because I bought it in the street. So, don't blame me for that. Okay, so our mushroom. Okay, hopefully Aldo Volpi is not in the room. He's the only Italian here who would say that I did something wrong, but luckily he's not here. So, we're going to take a few pieces of the mushroom. The most beautiful ones as possible for the photo shoot. Put a few pieces. The rest of these I'm going to give to my wonderful assistant who's making tasting plates for you guys. Plating. Okay, to this we're going to add a bit of chopped shallots, which is going to give a bawang merah, yang di chop, tipis. I like to give this for a bit of a crunch. You remember, it has to look beautiful, but you also have to have different textures. So just beef, chewy. A bit of a crunch from the raw shallots, crunch, really nice, okay? Also a bit of garlic from chives or spring onions, you can use in Indonesia. These are spring onions. So again, they're cut very thin. So it's starting to look beautiful. And I know it tastes beautiful because I've tasted this dish many times. Okay, oops. I'm starting to burn here. We forgot to put some seasoning. So pepper. Yeah, you can go like that if you want, or you can go like this if you want, it depends where you're from. Salt. We haven't put any salt yet. So you notice when I put salt, I don't put salt here. Okay? If I put salt here, there might be too much salt on my food. If I put the salt up here, it's going to fall more evenly on the plate. Okay? Not very important.
Oke guys, tadi itu adalah cooking demo by Trisha. Dan sekarang gue mau ke booth Punten. Dan hari ini gue ketemu sama temen gue si Trisha. Udah lama banget gue gak ketemu dia. Sumpah, I'm really excited. Oke bro, gue bakalan masakan kesini. And I'll see you guys. Sedap. Bisa pakai duit cash nggak beli produk? Bisa beli pakai cash nggak?
Bisa.
Satunya berapa?
20.000 isinya 8.
8. Boleh nih.
20.000 isi 8, dapat ini, dapat itu juga scrap. Dapat scrap kalau kakak foto di kita nanti dikasih. Oh ya udah, catat Instagram. Catat Instagram, punya Instagram kan?
Punya.
Namanya
Abid Zara. A B I
Abi Tiara ya?
Abid Zara.
Abi
D
P D Abid
Abid Zara.
Zara.
0817 4896
4896. IG-nya sama.
sama.
Jam 5 sore sampai jam 3.
Kalau yang Max apa?
Ini jadi yang ini kak, yang
Oh,